Yeah, disappointing series. We've been outplayed in all 5 games, in every facet of the game. It's been a tough series, and hopefully some guys can learn a bit about themselves and us as a team as well. It's always tough when you particularly bring 3 debutant bowlers to South Africa playing on these wickets. It's never easy against quality players. So hopefully those guys can learn a little bit out of this series. In regards to batting, I guess we just haven't been able to put enough partnerships together. We've had guys that have had starts and not been able to go on with it. Having said that, Davey was magnificent today. To score 170 out of our 290 runs was remarkable. The rest of us weren't good enough though. We needed someone to stay with him and get in a partnership. And a couple of the guys that got starts weren't able to carry that on.
Has it been sort of a frustrating one in terms of sort of missed opportunities? There's been a lot of guys who sort of made 50s, made 30s, 40s, but haven't sort of gone on enough.
Yeah, that's right. That is the frustrating part. I guess when you play in this part of the world on these wickets, you need to 40s don't really cut it. You have to be going on and getting big scores, and I guess that's what the South African batters have done. They've almost had 100 in each game, basically, except the last one. So. Yeah, it's about guys going on and making big scores. Someone in the top 4, and their top 4 was magnificent throughout this series.
You mentioned that you've learned a few things about some of these guys. Have you learned things yourself, like captaincy and sort of being around the group when it's in a difficult situation? Has it been a learning curve for you?
It has been, yeah. I've never played in a one-day series where we've lost all 5 games, so it's been a difficult task. As I said, we've been outplayed, but the group's stuck together well. We're always looking at ways we can improve. I thought our preparation and the way we've trained while we've been here has been very good, so we just haven't been able to go out there and do the business. We've had a pretty inexperienced side, to be fair, so I think it's been a good challenge for those guys to see what the step up to international cricket is, and I'm sure those guys will be a lot better for the run.
Steve, what really impressed you about the Proteas? Were there any players that really stood out for you?
Well, they're top 4. I think they all played well at times throughout this series and got them big runs consistently. I think Riley Rousseau, after coming back from a shoulder injury, had a great series and thoroughly deserves to be man of the series. He hits the ball incredibly hard, and I think he played some beautiful cricket in these last 5 games. But their top order was probably the difference. Their top 4 going and making the big runs that they have done, probably, I guess, swayed it in their favour.
Steve, you spoke about the top 4 not going on and getting big runs. You stuck with virtually the same top 4 drive. See, as a guy, just went forward. Did you say explain how you can get a game?
Yeah, the selectors kept the faith in the top 4. To be fair, everyone in the top 4 has done pretty well recently, so it wasn't to be this series. The guys didn't step up and get the job done, but Uzi's obviously a quality player. He's got an opportunity to go back now and score some big runs, and I'm sure will be talked about come picking the test squad.
Davey, can you sort of talk us through your innings? I mean, did you feel like you could always possibly get the target the whole time you were in there?
Yeah, definitely. You just sort of got to take the scoreboard out of the equation when you're in those situations. And as Steve said, we haven't really nailed a couple of partnerships back to back throughout the whole series, and that's what's let us down. Us as top 4 have to be responsible for scoring the bulk of the runs, irrespective of how young the team is that we have. We're the top 4, an experienced top 4, and we should be able to come out here and at least 1 or 2 of us go on and put some big runs on the board. But it is what it is. We have to move on, and we've all got to learn from this series.
Do you think this series takes much into the test series that's coming up, or do you think it's just a completely different game?
Oh, you can look at it in 2 ways. It can or it might not. I think for us it's about going back home and concentrating on what we have to do. And for some of us it's white ball cricket, and some of us it's red ball and pink ball. So we just got to focus on that and what our job is at hand there.
Do you take a lot of confidence into
Yeah, always. It's always handy, being in form. But we went through a patch in Sri Lanka. It was quite challenging, quite tough in those conditions. And we're playing on nice wickets here, which are very similar to home. But you've got to keep starting from ball one every time you go out there and you put that our national colours on. You've always got to start from ball one, and you've got to really work hard into your innings, whether it's bat or ball.
Something said of B in Imran Tahir's honour at some stage out there. Were you able to shed light on what that was?
Look, what happens on the field happens on the field. I honestly have no idea what sparked it, but yeah, I honestly have no idea. I'm still trying to work it out. For the first time in my life, I didn't say anything. I think those demerit points I'm scared of.
Maybe what confused you.
Steve, I mean, you probably haven't seen because you've been playing a game, but there's a report that's come out of Australia that Rob Marsh is going to step down as chairman of selectors at the end of this summer coming up. Is that news to you? Are you surprised to hear that?
That is news to me. I didn't know that was the case. So, look, I think Rod's done a great job for Australian cricket over a long period of time, and if he feels it's time to step away from the role, then so be it. But as I said, I think he's done a great job over a long period of time.
Dave, you made 5 one-day hundreds this year, which has never been done by Australia before. Are you batting as consistently or as well as any stage up to this point?
Yeah, look, it's always something in the back of your mind that you always ask for within yourself is to be consistent as you can. And I think this year, when you're on good wickets and you're playing positive cricket, I think it can work in your favour. And you just got to keep on riding that roller coaster. When you're in form, you've got to keep riding that, as I said, because there's a lot of bad days in this game, but you've always got to think positive, that big one's around the corner. And it's for all of us. I think, as I said, we looked at Sri Lanka. It was very challenging conditions there, but we let that go, and we knew we were going to get very good wickets here. Some of us, made the most of it, but now we get, as I said, got a chance now to go home and focus on the red ball and pink ball.
Dave, where does that innings tonight? Where does that rate into the innings of one-day cricket for Australia? Suppose if we won it, to have more meaning.
Yeah, it's always, as I said, it's great to score some runs, but I think against a quality attack like that, you've always got to sort of pat yourself on the back and acknowledge that you did something well. I did get a life. As you know, in this game you do get some luck, and it can come in your fortune, work in your favour, but obviously very disappointed about the result.
Last couple. Even the fact you've got bowlers injured and people not here in the squad, is this sort of part of the natural cycle of one-day cricket? So 2 years out from the World Cup, you just need to know what you've got sort of up your sleeve in terms of trying guys at international level. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, it is, I guess, an opportunity to see some younger guys. I think with the schedule these days and the amount we play, it's impossible for particularly fast bowlers to sustain bowling at good pace for long periods of time. So, we've chosen to give Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood a rest from this series. It's given an opportunity for a few younger guys to come in and try and impress. Obviously, it's been a very tough series for everyone, but I'm sure they'll learn a lot out of it. You're playing against some quality players on some very good wickets. So yeah, I'm sure the guys will learn a lot out of it and hopefully go back and dominate in Shield cricket and in the Matador Cup that's finishing pretty soon.
Last two.
Dave, would you find Dale staying as dangerous as he has been in years past and what you would expect from him moving to the longer format?
Yeah, you've always got to respect Dale. World-class bowler, great athlete, always charges in, and you just never want to upset him. That's something I learnt fast when I first made my international debut. He's a guy that can really get on top, and we've seen it before in the Test series over here when the ball was reversing in PE. He just has this spark in him and this spell in him that sort of, you've got to get through that, and you've got to really work hard of trying to negate what he throws at you. But yeah, as I said, he's a world-class player and you've always got to respect him.
Last one.
Steve, just in terms of PE, Shanley came on, he took 2 wickets and 3 balls, and Jimmy came on today and he did the same thing. Would you say that's the big moments in the team?
Yeah, they did. They won 5-0, so they won every big moment. It's part of the game. As I said earlier, we just weren't able to to formulate partnerships back to back and big ones that are going to get big scores, and that's what you need when you're chasing, particularly 327. So, all the spinners for them did a good job.